Welcome to another episode of the Not Scrum Done podcast. I'm professional Scrum trainer Andriana Marshall, and that is my amazing co host.
Grad Scrum Master Scott.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking about a controversial topic that our fellow professional Scrum trainer, Stefan Wolpers, actually posted on LinkedIn, where he mentioned that if you are practicing Scrum, you don't actually need Agile coaches. We're going to have a fun conversation about this topic today. All right, Scott. So I'll make you take this one first. Do you actually think that Agile coaches are needed when you're practicing Scrum?
Honestly, I don't. I'm glad he actually wrote this because certainly it's something I've been thinking about for years. And it's not so much as no value in an agile coach. What I'm looking at, Andrianas and listeners, I'm thinking about the Scrum Guide, where we know the Scrum Master has three service levels. You have service to the Scrum team, you have service to the product owner specifically, and we service the organization. But you know what, Andriana? Sadly, most Scrum Masters I've ever seen do not get beyond serving their local team. But if you read our job description there in the Scrum Guide for the organization, isn't that the exact same thing Agile coaches do? What they're hired to do? But yet it's in our job description according to the Scrum Guide, us to do with Scrum Master. So that's a tough one, Adriana. Your thoughts?
Yeah, he talks about, if you're not familiar with Agile coaches, how they work more on the organizational level, while Scrum Masters operate at the tactical team level. And I think, Scott, you pointed that out perfectly. As a Scrum Master, you are also supposed to be at the organizational level. I do feel like when your team is self managing and they work really well together and they've found their rhythm, you should have a lot more free time to be at the organizational level. And some of the best Scrum Masters that have been around have been able to build really great relationships with people within the organization, coach and train them. And they ended up being some of the biggest advocates for Scrum teams. So I agree with him. But I also don't mind the aspect of having an actual agile coach day in, day out fighting for the teams, fighting to get the organization to a place where they're actually practicing agile, because a lot of times that is our biggest hurdle. So I have some mixed feelings. While I agree with him, I also do like to see that we have somebody fighting the good fight when we've been beaten down and tired of fighting that fight. But I think he makes a valid point. I personally don't mind having an agile coach that you can really lean on. One of the companies that I worked at, they had three agile coaches, and this was going across, I mean, thousands of people in this particular organization within this larger company. They did coaching, training, and not just at the organizational level. They would go and do a health check with teams. They would be there for Scrum Master. So they ended up being a great sounding board, and they were able to do training sessions. Sometimes your team needs an outside person to say something that you've been preaching forever. And then they act like it's brand new, like they never heard it before, but that's okay as long as they get the improvement. It doesn't have to come from me, but that's one of the things that they were able to do. And then when teams desperately needed a scrum master, they stepped in and were the scrum master for that team. So they did a lot of awesome work. And I'm not sure if everybody deals with that, but they were like the agile jack of all trades, could easily adapt and do anything to help us. You do you have anything else to add to that, Scott?
Yes, Andriana. That's some also awful lot of good things you said there. And it sounds like you had an amazing experience with agile coaches actually fulfilling the role that they was hired for. But my experiences have been totally opposite. And I'm thinking about I have a lot of friends who are agile coaches, and some of the challenges they have is they really want to do agile and scrum. I want you to visualize you an agile coach, and you're going to talk to the stakeholder about how wonderful agile is and all the things that it will do if we do it right. And what if that stakeholder says, "No, we're not going to do that here"? Then what do? Now it's a catch 22 because as that agile coach, you working, I would imagine, to take care of your family. Now you have a decision to make. Are you going to go against what you know to be true? Because this here stakeholder just told you, and clearly, we're not going to do that here. What do? So I think agile coaches they have to walk a fine line of staying employed and trying to do agile. It's because there's a lot of bureaucracy on that level. which I don't want to be on that level. I just rather be on the battlefield with the Scrum team. Let's deliver. I don't want to play no games. I don't want to convince you that Agile is the way to go because we know it's the way to go. I don't want to deal with all of that. But I have had one of the other things you mentioned, Adriana, that got me to thinking. It took me way back to my first environment in Scrum. It was a large grocery store chain. We did not have Agile coaches, but we had that stakeholder who he was a champion of Agile and Scrum, and all the other stakeholders were not. And he was our champion. He was the one in the boardroom. Look, y'all need to do this, not fake it, not use this a la carte. I'm gonna take a little bit of this. Okay, we're gonna forget about the first value in terms of individuals and interactions, but we're gonna keep processes and tools. What? No. What are you going to do? He's up there in the C-suite with these individuals. He was a VP right beside the president of the company, but he was an advocate. He shared with us. It's tough. He would come to our daily scrums. He would come to all our events at the Scrum team level, and we felt honored for his presence because we knew he was a champion trying to really get this Agile thing to go to the next level for our department and for the entire company. But he just got so much kickback. I don't know why. I don't know why. Adriana, your thoughts?
I think that's a great story. If you're watching this, you got a little bit of me having mixed feelings. You also got a little bit of, I think, Scott, you stuck to it, but you also talked about having an advocate at a higher level that's actually willing to fight and not technically an agile coach, just an ally. And I think on that side, if you're a scrum master, that's what you have to do, and you don't have an agile coach. You have to make sure that you have those type of relationships and someone that understands what's going on and can help you fight the good fight. Another thing is we could talk a little bit more in another video about coaching at the organizational level, give you some tactical ideas and some tips for the next video. But for this video, thanks for watching till the end. That means that you have an attention span greater than a goldfish.
Be legendary, everyone, but not Scrum down.